Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've actually filmed anything. The last thing that I filmed was the Birds of Prey review, so I really just haven't given myself the opportunity to get my camera out and talk. And Sarah and I talked a little bit about this. We kind of both had the idea of doing videos talking about things that are making us happy at the moment, specifically because of the current situation globally. So since we're all alone right now, I decided I wanted to talk about things that made me feel not quite alone. I have felt this weird sense of almost fear in doing that, and I don't really know why, and normally I don't really combat feelings like that. I just let myself feel them until they go away, but this was one that I knew easily I could make go away by just doing what it was that my brain was telling me not to do. We need to talk about the things that we like in order to connect with one another, and that is so immeasurably important at this moment that I had to break out of that fear mold. So here are some things that have recently made me really happy, or that I've just consumed because I've had the time and the ability to do so. I can't actually remember when we finished it, but my mom and I binged all of the Handmaid's Tale, which I didn't think I was gonna watch. I thought I was just gonna let her watch it and I would do work while she had it on. And then I got sucked in, and it's dark and it's stressful, and I had to, sleep with the TV on in my bedroom, which I don't normally do anymore, but watching the Handmaid's Tale at 1 o'clock in the morning and then immediately going to bed didn't really work out very well, so I just had to distract myself before I fell asleep. I don't know if I really need to talk about what it is, because it's The Handmaid's Tale. The book's been around for God knows how long. The show's been going on for years now, so if you have Hulu and you think you can handle The Handmaid's Tale, I think it's okay to watch even now, because the situations are a little different. My mom and I also watched the entire second season of Shrill because there's only 8 episodes. We loved the first season a lot. I don't really know what her thoughts were on the second season. My thoughts on the second season are, it's good, I like it, I'll watch the third season whenever that happens. However, my biggest complaint through both seasons now is just that Annie is the main character. She dates this guy Ryan who puts no effort into pretty much anything, and Annie continuously gives him chances to actually learn and grow, and he doesn't put the effort into that either. It just, to me, insinuates that fat girls should just settle for any person that wants to be with them, regardless of how they're treated by that person. And I don't like it. Just, food for thought, because both seasons now I've been like, Ryan is my least favorite part of the show. And if you didn't know what Shrill was, it's a Hulu original show, just like The Handmaid's Tale actually, but it's kind of loosely based on a book by Lindy West. It stars Adie Bryant from SNL. She plays this girl Annie, who's a writer, and she kind of, at the beginning of the first season, decides to take her life into her own hands, in a productive way, and seeks out different marginalized groups to talk to and talk about, and she goes to that kind of now famous fat pool party that, I really need to know where I can find one of those. Obviously not at the very second, but I'd like to go to one of those. It's just kind of cute and coming of age and rom-com-y, so it's fun. It's a good watch. Like I said, I'll watch the third season when it comes out. I'm really excited to see where Annie's gonna go after the second season. So I don't actually think that I've talked about how I like to do arts and crafts. I love to do arts and crafts, and I picked up crocheting within the last 2 years, probably more recently than that. I'm not very good at crocheting, but I like to do it. I found that crocheting was way easier to pick up than knitting, and I've heard opposite things from other people, but knitting I just could not compute for. Crochet, however, I like doing. My friend Brittany's birthday is coming up tomorrow, so I made this bat for her. It's a little wonky and his head is a little heavy, but I crocheted this whole thing. I made the whole thing, so that was my handsy, artsy project of the moment. Let me tell you, it is so easy to learn how to crochet from YouTube. I learned how to crochet from YouTube videos. And I like to crochet while I'm watching TV, especially like shows that I either don't really have to pay attention to fully for me to understand what's happening, or through things that I've already watched. So like today I finished The Bat and watched movies that clearly I had already seen before. But speaking of, I've also been watching a lot of Grace and Frankie recently, and that's been really nice because it's not really like plot heavy, so I can sit and crochet or sit on my phone and watch Grace and Frankie and not feel like I'm missing out on too much. Grace and Frankie is a Netflix show with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda, and they play these two older women who their husbands come out to them in the first episode, and they get divorced and their husbands get married to each other, and Grace and Frankie move into their like shared beach house, and basically from then on it's just the development of their friendship, and they go into business together, and it's a cute show. It's a nice show to sit and not have to like use too much brain work to figure out what's going on. I love all of the characters, including all of their adult children. The show is very funny and I highly recommend it. I've currently been in a reading slump, which I have not allowed to freak me out because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many books I read this year. I would love to get back into reading soon because that's a thing that I enjoy doing. However, I'm not making myself angry at my own self for not being able or not having the motivation to pick up a book and read it right now. However, the one downside that is kind of weighing on me because of that is that not only am I finding it hard to read and be engaged with other people's books, but I am finding it very hard to read and be engaged with my own draft of a manuscript that I've been working on for close to 3 years, if not 3 years by now. My book really needs attention and I just do not have the motivation to do that right now. Somebody please tell me what the answer to that problem is, because I really need to work on it again. I'm not thinking of anything else that I've like done in the last week essentially. So today I watched 4 movies. It's been 6 days that I have been in self-isolation, and today is the first day that I've dedicated to movies. But I watched 4. I wasn't planning on any certain number or anything, it just happened. So in this order, I watched Howl's Moving Castle, Mad Max Fury Road, Beauty and the Beast, and then Hunt for the Wilder People is on Hulu, which I did not know until I went onto Hulu. So I watched Hunt for the Wilder People, which was the only one in the pile that I hadn't seen before. Let me tell you, Taika Waititi is at it again. I think it's pretty clear, like these 3 are really popular, like everybody's seen these 3, and if you haven't, look them up. But Hunt for the Wilder People is the one that I'm going to talk about because it's the one that I didn't see before today, or hadn't seen before today. Hunt for the Wilder People is written and directed by Taika Waititi because, like, what project of his did he not do both on besides like Thor? It's about a young boy, Ricky Baker, who is put into a new foster home in New Zealand. He's kind of labeled as a troublemaker by the Child Protective Services of New Zealand, and the new foster family, the new foster mom is really excited to have him there, and the foster dad is kind of like not really a people person. He's like, Bella wants you here, so I don't care what you do kind of thing. They have a good first couple of days together. I don't actually know how long it is that they're together before Bella passes away, but she does pretty early on in the movie, and then the rest of the runtime is, what is his name? Hector, Sam Neill's character, and Ricky kind of bonding, but bonding in this really weird way.
Faulkner is Caucasian. Well, they got their own because you're obviously white.
Where they go off into the wilderness and have to survive because the New Zealand government is after them. It's a really heartwarming, but also heartbreaking and sad and dirty and joyful story, which, to be very honest, Taika Waititi is pretty much always good at doing. It's a really good movie. Like I said, it's on Hulu. It's free with subscription, so if you have Hulu, you have the ability to watch it, or you can rent it from somewhere maybe, highly recommend it. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is probably the biggest thing that has really made me laugh, made me feel connected to other people, even though I don't really interact with other people with it, but I downloaded TikTok. I have no intentions of making my own TikTok. Please do not ask me to do it. Right now, I just don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on this and my book eventually again. I don't want to make TikToks. I want to watch them. This is something that I exclusively want to view. I love it though. I'm obsessed. I cannot explain to you how much I have enjoyed my time watching TikToks, and I lose so much time doing it. But right now, what's the difference? I'm not doing anything more important. I've learned through TikTok that when somebody has a ferret, they do not stop at one ferret. Is it because the ferrets need friends, or is it because you just enjoy having ferrets? I haven't been able to ferret that one out yet. One that I recently just found is Felicia.st. She does cosplays of Anne Boleyn. So that's how niche I can get on TikTok. I also like Veebles. She's a Scottish woman who just does a lot of TikToks talking about how people talk about her accent. Like her a lot. Fairhope Herbs is a TikToker who does a lot of stuff with her bearded dragon who's TikTok famous. Little Margot. Big fan of Margot. I like Paige Lale, not only because we have the same name, but because she talks about being a woman with autism and other disabilities, and she makes her TikToks really accessible, and I like that a lot about her. Olivia Van Foxface lives on a farm, and basically all of her TikToks are just her going and feeding her farm animals. She has like 4 llamas, a bunch of goats, 2 mini horses, a little piggy, 3 dogs. Like, I just really like animals, in case you couldn't tell about me. Then there's KTS Canvases, who pretty much her entire TikTok is just her painting these really pretty floral designs. I just find her voice and her painting to be very comforting and very relaxing. She's a good one to watch right before bed. I also really like Youth Pastor Ryan. He's just very wholesome and funny. He's not actually a youth pastor, he just says that he uses youth pastor basically because that's his personality. I do follow a couple cat accounts that I absolutely love. I do not have any cats and I do not consider myself a cat person. However, One-Eared Uno is one of the most adorable cats I've ever seen in my entire life. He does have one ear and he goes on lots of adventures and I love him. Morgan Drinks Coffee is a very relatable TikToker because I used to work in a bookstore that had a cafe and I was cross-trained to work in the cafe, so I know what it feels like to be a barista and have to deal with customers. But I think her TikToks are very funny and, again, relatable. I follow a lot more, but I'm only gonna suggest 2 more for now. I really love John's Bones. He has a cat named Chonk, and pretty much whenever I open TikTok, Chonk is the first thing that I see, and Chonk brings me so much joy. I love Chonk. The chonky boy, the perfect angel, love him. And my absolute favorite TikToker, who I have liked for a while, not necessarily on TikTok, although the videos that I've seen of him are from TikTok, I've just seen them on other social media sites, is Ghost Honey. Tyler is perfect. We'll just go with that. Tyler's famous for being the most perfect husband in that he went back to the airport to get his husband's very expensive Lush product out of a bush. And he also does quite a few TikToks where he puts on this like Victorian dandy persona, they're hilarious. I love it. It's very Oscar Wilde and I love it. Tyler genuinely makes me so happy. So those are the things that have been keeping me busy and connected and feeling like I'm not alone in the last 6 days as of me filming this. What are some of the things that you're doing to make yourself feel connected and not alone or isolated in this time of isolation? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please click the bell below so you don't miss any of our future videos. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so down below as well, especially if you like videos on Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, and more. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves and staying happy and doing what you need to do at this time. It's a really scary and high anxiety time globally, so whatever you're feeling, you're actually not alone in feeling that. And I hope that this video gave you some hope or some suggestions of things to do. One of us will see you real soon.